There we go. Perfect. Okay, we're back. So you remember that Frank Sinatra song, My Way? We all remember it. And the words, I'm not going to sing it. Why would I do that? If you don't have the accompaniment for this, it just doesn't come out right. Anyway, and now the end is near, and so I face that final curtain. My friend, I'll make it clear, I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. I've lived a life that's full, I've traveled each and every highway, and more, much more. I did it my way. No, that's not the Unetane Tokef. It isn't. But it kind of feels that way, doesn't it? We're going to do the Unetane Tokef on Rosh Hashanah, where we beg God to put us in the book of life. Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. I did what I had to do. I saw it through without exemption. I planned each charted course, each careful step along the byway, and more, much more. I did it my way. Yes, there are times, I'm sure you knew, when I bit off more than I could chew. But through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it up and I spit it out. I faced it all and I stood tall and did it my way. You know, this song was one of my father's favorites. Zechot Tzedek Livracha. May his memory be righteous and be a blessing. He used to sing it almost every time we did a concert, especially as he got older and older. He just sang it. And you'd sit and cry when he sang it if you knew him, because he really did, Taka. He really did do it my way. And because of that, these words leave an incredibly powerful memory for me. As he got older, whenever he would sing it, those who knew him, they got a severe case of pishach from the Yegelach, if you know what I mean. But on this final Shabbat of the year, this is the last Shabbat of 5785. We are not, God willing, facing our final curtain, but we are looking back at the fullness of our lives during this year that is drawing to a close. And we cannot help but think about things we wish we had not done. Regrets? I have a few. We all do. A recent study suggested, listen to this, 99% of us at least occasionally look back on our lives and wish we had done things differently. 99%. What is wrong with that other 1%? There's something wrong if they never look back and wish they had done things differently. But 43% of us do it routinely. So 99% of us do it, but 43% do it routinely. How they come with these numbers, I don't know. But regrets are a foundational part of our High Holy Day experiences, and they give us the opportunity to plan and grow in the year ahead. As long as we do not get too bogged down by depression, by inaction, by guilt, by blame, by shame and judgment. We do all those things, but we can't get bogged down in that, because if we do, then we can't make the proper corrections. We have to examine those things that we did wrong and correct them. This is because regret has some upsides. When we regret doing something, we gain inspiration to handle similar situations differently next time. That is why Rosh Hashanah is so important. It is such an important time because we face our mistakes from 57, 85, and we don't want to do them again in 57, 86. You know, regrets inspire us to make different choices. We regret so many things. One is probably that we regret not being as attentive as we should have to maintain our important relationships. Another one might be that we were not attentive enough to maintain our health. Come on, who here doesn't eat something we shouldn't every once in a while? Too much ice cream, too much cake, whatever, cookies, gribbanas. But whatever we regret, because I don't regret eating gribbanas, but whatever we do regret, Rosh Hashanah assures us that we can and must change. Appropriately, the Hebrew word shuv, you know the word shuvah? The word shuv, from what it comes from, the root word, means to return, And it appears no less than 7 times in today's Torah reading. Shuv, to return. Teshuvah, returning to who we were born to be, is what that means. Teshuvah, return me to the way I was meant to be when I was born. That's the reason for this High Holy Day season. That's the reason. If we think about it, we will come to understand that regret is the fuel of teshuvah, of returning the way we should be when we were born. Through regret, we can repair what is broken in us. We can. Through regret, we can come to a place of forgiving ourselves for the dumb things we did, or the things we did that was so brilliant but wasn't so brilliant in the end. Boy, have we made mistakes. And don't tell me you're the only one on the call. You're the 1% that never did. I don't want to hear it. That would make me really upset because I want to be in that 1% and I'm not. Anyway, there's a poem called Moments, which has been attributed to numerous authors. Nobody knows for sure who wrote it, which is amazing. But it is believed that it lists the regrets of an 85-year-old who is at the end of his life. He's basically on his last days. And here's what he wrote. If I could live my life again, next time I would try to make more mistakes. I would not try to be so perfect. I would relax more. I would be sillier than I have been. I would take fewer things seriously. I would be less fastidious, accept more risks. I would take more trips, contemplate more evenings, climb more mountains, and swim more rivers. I would go to more places where I have not been. I would eat more ice cream and fewer beans. I would have more real problems and less imaginary ones. I was one of those people who lived sensibly and meticulously every minute of their life. Of course, I have had moments of happiness, but if I could go back in time, I would try to have good moments only and not waste precious time. I was someone never went anywhere without a thermometer, a hot water bag, an umbrella, and a parachute. If I could give life again, I would travel more frivolously. If I could live again, I would begin to walk barefoot at the beginning of the spring, and I would continue to do so until the end of autumn. I would ride more merry-go-rounds. I would contemplate more evenings, and I would play with more children. If I could have another life ahead. But I am 85 years old, you see, and I know that I am dying. And that's the end of the poem. You know, when we hear this wisdom, and it is wisdom, we notice what little emphasis there is on acquiring material things and how much the focus is on enjoying every possible moment. You know, in all my life, I have never heard anyone say to me on their deathbed, I wish I had spent more time in the office. I never heard that. This man says it so well in this poem. It might be a woman, I don't know. We don't know who wrote it. That is what this Shabbat's Torah reading is telling us. It says in Devarim chapter 30, verse 15, see, I set before you this day life and good, death and evil. To reinforce the message, 4 verses later it says, I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day. I have put before you life and death, blessing and curse. Life is a blessing. Choose life. The Torah asks us, even with all our difficulties, all our challenges, and boy, do we have them, we still have regrets too. We all have regrets. But if we deal with them properly, they will help us choose life and blessing. Think about what regrets we can each learn from, and let us be prepared to correct them in 5786. I want to wish you all a Shabbat Shalom, an Am Yisrael Chai, and a Shana Tova to you and yours, from me and mine.